let's look at the earth hand first. Okay. So you're grounding, he's pushing, push. You're on that foot, okay? This hand, you're going to make that elbow go in and forward. So it's not that you're getting out of the way and then he falls into it. He could be pulling, pull. He could be pulling, it doesn't matter, you ground, and you make him go forward. It doesn't matter his grip either. You have to use his grip, make him use his grip. So even though his fingers are there, you don't use them. You use his grip, his palm. Two things you're looking for, not only that he goes forward, but the other one is that his elbow comes in. So you watch his elbow. Elbow comes in. Elbow comes in. You're not going to pull it. Slow down. You're not going to pull it by doing your outward spiral. This movement. You're going to get on the other side of the grip. You see my elbows on the other side of the grip. Your elbow doesn't stay on this side of the grip. Elbow in. Okay, let's try that arm, the earth hand. Okay, the heaven hand. Earth. Heaven. Nope, change your feet. Okay. So it has to have same thing. If he's pulling me that way, pull. It doesn't matter, I should still be able to move him. It's not that you're just opening and then he walks forward because he's finally displacing. Okay? You're seizing the center. Right at the beginning, you have a center and you're going to compress, push that center, and then you're going to move the center. Same thing on the other hand. Okay? So compress, you're in the center and you move the center. No movement yet. Boom, move. And just as this is, the earth hand is your outward spiral. Heaven hand is your inward spiral. Change your feet. Heaven hand is your inward spiral. Feel and move his center. Boom. Seize it. So inside his grip, you have to adhere. Adhere and move his body. Okay? All right. Inside the middle of your Senshin center crest, which is Ed Parker's crest, which was my Kempo teacher, there's a heart shape. Your inward spiral is making that heart shape on the outside. So if I have my hand at the bottom and I do my inward spiral, it's making that heart shape on one side, then the other hand would make it on the other. Your outward spiral is making it on the inside. Here. So if I have my right hand, I'm on the inside. My left hand, I'm on this side. Can you guys see that?
Right.
Okay. You have a couple things here. You have heaven, because the throw is called heaven and earth throw. You have your heart pattern, which is a universal pattern, and it's made of your inward and outward spirals. And these are given elemental values too. and directions. And characteristics. Light and heavy, okay? And this makes Tenchi Nage a kind of all-encapsulating technique. So for example, in the Osaka Aikikai, where I trained for most of my time, they didn't do Kokyu Nage at the end. They did Tenchi Nage at the end, okay? But if you pay attention to Kokyu Nage, it's just Tenchi Nage when you understand it this way. It's just moved, right, from around the neck to in front of the neck, okay? But if you pay attention, every single technique is actually doing this. So Sumiotoshi, which we did last week, is doing the same thing, but it's on the wrist and elbow as opposed to the neck and wrist, okay? So now you're going to do both. We won't do any movement, okay? I do both. Boom. Connect, move. Boom. If you fall, but I'm not trying to throw him. I'm seizing his center, making his center come forward. Okay, try it. So now if you reverse engineer the throw, you know you have a back break fall. The back break fall is going to only be utilized when the guy's coming forward. You can't do back break falls. You can't do a technique that's going to throw someone backwards that is already going backwards. Meaning if I'm here like this, and you just come forward to do the technique, come forward to do the technique. He comes forward to do the technique. I can just move. My being locked into the inertial energy of the forward progress is what provides angles of cancellation that won't let me counter the throw. Okay, so whenever you're throwing someone backwards, it has to be going forward. Okay, so I brought him forward. He's going forward. Now I got to figure out after I generated his forward energy, now I got to figure out how to turn it so that that forward energy is now going backwards to provide the yin energy or the yin opening for me to enter like the technique requires. And that is going to be done in this fashion. So if you watch the technique, I am bringing him into this adhesion point and transitioning it to this adhesion point. So I'm going from here, and now I don't care about his grip. I'm here on his face, okay? Anywhere on his head face area was my sole intention when I brought him forward. And you will use your footwork to make that happen. That's what I want. Pass it from this adhesion point to this adhesion point. I want you to be conscious of it now. Boom. Boom. I'm not knocking him. I'm just touching it there. So when he hits that new adhesion point, I have to match his yang value so I get the adhesion. Knocking him is not going to do it. So our little micro drill is get on that adhesion point. Okay, let's go. So what you did with the initial handwork to bring him forward is yes, it is a yin yield. But it's not me getting out of the way, is it? I have an Aiki adhesion at the grip and a seizure at the tanden. That's what moves him forward, okay? And now what I do at the grip, so this is at the grip, and this is at the tanden, the lower tanden. And then what I ended up doing was I took this and went not at the grip, but at the middle portion of the heaven arm, okay? So we're gonna do middle of the heaven arm. That's where I move my adhesion to. And then I keep the seizure at the lower tanden. That's where I am in this technique so far. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is another yin yield at this point. It is gonna be still an adhesion and a seizure. I'm not just getting out of the way. I am moving this person's midsection. Okay? I'm going to do this at the middle heaven arm. And what I'm doing here is just two-dimensionally, to keep it simple, is energy was going forward this way. And what I'm going to do is slightly turn it. It's still going with its initial energy forward. You guys got it? Okay. What I am not going to do is a yang-yang clash. What a yang-yang clash does is energy's going forward, and then I try to shove it backwards and make it go this way. I'm not going to do that. So let this turn right here is your yin yield. And that yin yield, where you take penetrating energy, keep it going with its initial inertial trajectory in terms of within itself, but now going in a different direction. Okay? That is what you do all the time in Aikido. So, for example, okay, I'm going to do Irimi Nage, and a lot of people see this kind of stuff. But his energy's going forward, and what I'm going to do is adhere and start to bring it around this way. As far as his center line goes, it's still going forward of the center line, but instead of east, he's now headed west. Okay? Or we have Kokyu Ho. We get this adhesion now on the outer side of my arm, and his energy was going east. I'm going to keep it going forward. It's now going that way, west, okay, with that little turn. That's what you're doing here as well. So you're bringing him forward. He's there. Stay there like in that position. It's at this point that I keep him going forward in a little turn of like Irimi Nage. Go back in that position. Or with a little turn like Kokyu Ho. I'm now doing it here with the middle part of the arm. Boom. Bring him forward to there. Boom. Turn his chin, turn his head. Boom. That way, if you pay attention, his center keeps going forward. Boom. He touches, turn it. Boom. Boom. All right, let's try. All right. In all Kihon Waza, you have this thing that I have called in English spiral rotate. It's an extension of yin-yang theory. So if you have yin and yang and you give one the horizontal axis and one the vertical axis, they are at their sharpest distinction. They are at their fullest yin and yang, okay? And you go back to yin-yang theory, and prior to them reaching such a dichotomous nature, there was something that was pre-dichotomy. We don't have a name for it. We call it the Tao, okay? In this alchemical theory, as it is applied to the technique and to your body and to your spirit, what you're going to try to do is take that sharp distinction between yin and yang and undo it, and you return to the Tao, to the nameless state, okay? The way you undo that is get rid of this solid, concrete plus sign. How do you do that? You're going to start this cross spinning. Do more than that, though. Make it rotate, too, and make it spiral through space. And now yin and yang, technically, is being undone. Got it? So energetically, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to do that, of course, with Nage's Tanden. So yes, there's an external component to it, but you're trying to do it internally with your Tanden. When you're able to do that, let's make a jump, but I wouldn't consider this part of Kihon Waza 101. When you're able to do that within your own Tanden, you will be able to do it into Uke's Tanden. And when you're able to do it within your Tanden and Uke's Tanden, you will reach an energetic value that will manifest at the level of the heart mind, at level of Shin, the level of Kokoro. Okay? And that's a reconciliation between the ego tripartite mind and the God mind. It puts you in that ecstatic state. So every time you're doing Kihon Waza and you do this, you're getting in that ecstatic state. You're returning to that pre-yin and yang, that pre-dichotomy, okay? That is Misogi. So if we look here at this technique, Uke's energy is going this way. Okay? And I am going to make it go the other way. And of course, here we're looking just two-dimensionally. As you would feel as Uke, there's some down and there's some lift as well in all of these patterns, okay? And that's why it's spiral rotating. It's not just turning on a flat surface, okay? Eventually, I'm going to make Uke go this way, right? Uke's energy, as far as their inertia in their body, they're still going in the same direction, okay? And I'm going to make one more turn to completely undo these cross pattern here. Got it? You have to do this at the end. And then this is really my upper body. On my lower body, it's going to go this way and turn. Okay? Now, if you look closely, you got like one loop here and another loop here. I'm going to pull those two loops out. And you kind of have your little infinity thing doing. That's what you're trying to do here. Okay? And then if you extend this one around this way, you have it again over here. Do you see it? So you have one horizontal one and one vertical one. You're spiral rotating the whole technique. Okay? What is key, though, for this throw is this trajectory here. It is very common for the beginner to make their legs, their lower part of their body, match perfectly the upper part of the body, and that messes you up, okay? So I'll show you what I mean. All right, so it's in your irimi here, there. The other turn is when you turn the kwa into the throw, which is why you would never do it like this. But that line across is the irimi. Boom. Now let's look at this part. So that idimi was this line. This rotation is when I turn my claw. This part here. We're looking at this part. And this is where I think you're running into problems, and Margaret, you're running into problems. When you are imagining this technique, you're imagining a guy going here, and then he bends over, and then he falls backwards. Again, he's coming forward, you bend him at his waist, and he comes backwards, okay? This bending at his waist, that part, that is not good, that's wrong. If I seized his tanden, he can't bend at his waist. He can't, he gets rigid, okay? So now, what I would like for you to do is watch his body in the throw to see if he hinges at his waist. Got it? Okay. You can watch for him hinging. What do you say? No. To contrast it, go ahead and hinge. Hinge backwards. There you go. See that? That's different, totally different, okay? If he can hinge at his waist, then he does not need to come forward. He has control over his body, okay? So he'll come forward, hinge at his waist, and then I'll throw. Here, when I try to throw you backwards, just walk out. Hinge, walk out. Well, let's do better than that. Use your athleticism. Bend backwards, hinge, back out. Okay? Same thing, try it again. No choice. Got it? So he's not taking ukemi in the contemporary sense where he positions himself and goes and gives me the choreography. He's being thrown. There's no choice. He has no choice. Do you see that? His ukemi is very simplified. Spinally displaced, and then don't die. Because I'm going to throw you. So don't hit your head on the mat. Get it? Got it? Okay. Let's try those two things in what you're doing. Go. So because his body's going to be rigid, what I'm going to do is spiral rotate him. So he's going to come in, he's going to tilt, this thing's going to go around. I start to bring it this way. So you have your cross, and basically he's doing that. These movements. I'm doing that with his body. In he goes, around he goes, out the other side. In he goes, I tilt him and bring him around the other side. So you're doing these things. Okay, so if you pay attention, I don't try to bend him. I don't try to hook his head. He's going to get this tilt. And then that tilt I make go around me. Because I'm going to enter. So let's maybe see it from back here. I'm not trying to bend him. I just get a little tilt out of his body. That's enough. I yield it and slide. Don't try to bend him. Don't try to bang him. That's not it. Tilt him, spiral him. Tilt him. Okay, let's go.